in your brain, you're in the Nerds Domain. Come on in, it's about to begin. Domain. The Nerds Domain.
Welcome to the Nerds Domain podcast. In this episode, we review a brand new movie that just came out. It's an immediate movie review.
Hi, everybody. It's time to talk about the Lego Movie. We're here with Jesse, Shirley, George, and Johnny the Slacker.
We're not
Yes,
saying
hello.
names anymore.
No, we don't, because it's all on the pre.
I'm a micromanager.
That's
Oh.
a spam.
Oh. So we're going to talk about the Lego Movie that just came out yesterday. No, 2 days ago. So on Sunday. Everybody saw it.
Except me.
Yeah, except Johnny, because he's a slacker. Again. George, why don't you give us a quick synopsis of the movie?
How deep do you want me to go?
Without spoiling.
No spoilers.
spoilers.
Just
No spoilers. So the Lego Movie is about a Lego world. It focuses on a construction worker named Emmett, who very much wants to fit in and be a guy like everybody else and have a kind of a perfect life that everyone else has, and is not doing too good at it. And the main conflict then is that President Business, who is ruler of the Lego world, as well as the, I assume, duly elected president, although they don't really get into the politics of it. Anyways, he's kind of a megalomaniac, and he's been trying to shut down these people known as the Master Builders, who are sort of like semi-wizard Neo from the Matrix type people who can kind of reassemble the world into things using just whatever's laying around. They can create rocket ships and cars and reshape things, and he's trying to tamp down their creativity and trying to make everything according to his plan and how things should be. And so Emmett kind of gets swept up in this. He meets a DJ named Wildstyle and some of the Master Builders, and he becomes the chosen one, and it goes from there. So I think that was it. And Batman's there. Batman's there as well.
Batman is there. And
Batman.
everything except for Marvel was pretty well displayed here. I mean, there was no Back to the Future, but most of their lines.
I beg to differ.
What?
That was a back to
Oh,
Was
good,
it
awesome.
DeLorean or something?
I guess we'll hear about it.
Okay.
So,
What happened to the guy's cop car?
oh, it did turn into a flying car.
Mm.
I guess that could be a reference. But like Lord of the Rings and the Harry Potter and Abraham Lincoln, like there's a bunch of
Michelangelo and Michelangelo?
Yeah, Michelangelo and Michelangelo.
Michelangelo, thank you. Sorry.
And William Shakespeare
Doing the worm.
doing the worm.
That was awesome.
And so all of the little minifigures you get out of the individual packages, a lot of those were in there.
Mm-hmm.
But they referenced just about everything from the pirate world, or from the Lego world. The pirates were there too.
And one of the nicer touches too is that they also had one of the side characters is, I believe they called him 80s Spaceman.
Yeah.
And so he's like those old, and he's presented kind of cruddy, like the logo on his chest is kind of a little bit worn down and his helmet's a little cracked and the visor's missing. But he looks like, if you're from the 80s, like some of us are, I think most of us.
Most of us.
You remember when they looked like that, and comparing him to the really vibrant.
As a
people,
reminder,
that's awesome.
80s Spaceman had no visor.
He looks like he had a little thing.
Yeah, you had little bumps on the side to attach visor. They did not come with visors.
Yeah, I thought they all just
Really?
fell
Yeah.
off or something.
Yeah.
I never had
I
one.
don't know. I have a lot of the Lego guys, and they all have visors right now. But
Yeah. So, what did you guys think of the movie? Again, with no spoilers, give it kind of a rundown. Jesse?
now I'll give it 4 out of 5 stars. It was a good movie. It gets a little slow in the middle, but other than that, I enjoyed it.
Okay. Shirley?
Definitely,
A 5 out of 5?
yeah. This is one that's going on my shelf.
Okay. How about you, George?
I would say 5 out of 5. I'd compare it favorably to Wreck-It Ralph, which is also I thought something that was awesome. It's kind of in a similar vein.
I would also give it a 5 out of 5. I will admit I was, as a child, Lego maniac. I might still own Legos and not play with them. I don't play with them while everybody else is at work and not here.
Hold on, you just got Legos for Christmas.
I know. I'm still a huge Lego fan. I have gladly instilled that in my child.
I'm trying to remember what movie we saw the preview for this. There was a big council chamber scene, and it was just a real quick teaser. You saw like a group of Superman was there and all that. But Gwen and I were both, my daughter Gwen, who's 5 now, so she would have been 4 at the time of seeing this trailer, both like sat up straight in our seat and we're like, oh god, when does this come out?
It is clearly for children. It's well written for children, the same way that Wreck-It Ralph was written for children. but there's enough fun to be had that adults won't be out anything. I had a blast. I think we were some of the few adults without children with us, but I think it was well worth it. So I give it clearly a clear 5 out of 5. So this is the point where we hit spoilers, and you should stop and not listen anymore because spoilers are coming.
You really should too on this one. I feel if something was, I don't mind spoilers. I tend to really enjoy them. This would have ruined the movie.
Yeah,
it really would have.
There are some.
Sorry,
clear,
Johnny.
I don't mind spoilers.
I would have thought the same thing. But
Well, this is his punishment for being a slacker.
Okay.
So so stop now if you haven't already stopped. If you don't want to hear spoilers. So, what did you guys think of the overall story?
A+.
I mean, like, can you give us a little more?
Yeah, well, when I first heard about it, and I hadn't paid attention to a lot of it until I think just really the past week that I became aware of it, and then people were saying it was really good, and I thought it was going to be, just kind of like a corporate cash-in kind of, commercial type thing, and just for toys. And while I've enjoyed a lot of stuff like that, in all honesty, it was just like, oh, it's a movie about Legos. How can that be good? And I've enjoyed like Lego Star Wars video games and stuff like that. So, but I didn't really think it was going to be like that. But the message of the movie was really good, and that it was actually, the bad guy's named President Business, and that's pretty obvious.
That's Lord Business.
Lord Business, who becomes President Business,
Who becomes elected into president, clearly.
and so there's a lot of the sly kind of skewering of some like kind of corporate and political things going on that I thought was pretty clever and well done. And then the overarching message is, be creative, be whatever kind of creative you want to be. If you want to follow the instructions, that's cool. If you don't want to follow the instructions, that's cool. We're all heroes. We're all good. It was very positive, and it sounds kind of treacly, but it's good stuff. And I thought it was handled in a way that was clever and smart and not pandering. And even though it is like going to inspire you to go out and buy Legos, I think that Lego as a company, I think it's good that they kind of crowdsource things, and like Back to the Future was kind of voted on by the fans and that kind of stuff. So I thought a good message that I liked and I was not expecting.
Yeah, the storyline, especially when it got to the live action stuff, and there's some live action sequences in this.
which is where I thought the movie definitely took a major turn for the better.
Really?
That absolutely saved.
Really
the movie in my
smart.
book. Yeah.
And really ballsy, I thought.
Yes.
So Will Ferrell
There.
plays the dad of the kid who's been building all this stuff and telling the story that you're watching the whole time. But Will Ferrell's Legos are not to be touched. They are made a certain way.
And you don't find this out until like the very end.
Yeah, it's the last 20
He
minutes of
is
the movie.
technically the villain of the movie.
And
So the dad who won't let his kid play with his Legos.
The
The
kid's
kid
got
has
a
his
bucket
own-
of Legos that are just a bucket of
Well,
Legos.
so what happens? The dad has this basement set up where he's got these segregated worlds, where there's Old West Town, and then there's the modern city, and then there's Middle Zealand, which is the Lord of the Rings stuff.
Yeah.
And the dad has it all set up, and he doesn't want the kid to touch it or play with it. And so the plot of the movie is that President Business has this relic,
Kragul?
Kriggle, which is a bottle of crazy glue with some of the words etched off, and he's going to fix everything exactly how he wants it. And then about like near the end of the movie, you see that it ends up in the real world, and the kid's there playing, and the dad comes down and he's like, "Have you been touching my stuff? Have you been changing things? Oh no, this is terrible." So he's like, "You can't touch my things," and he starts going and crazy gluing everything. Then there's this realization where he starts looking and seeing how imaginative his kid is and figuring things out. And it really affected me when he opens up like the evil like Death Star type thing, and he pulls out the figurine of the bad guy, President Business, and he looks at it and realizes it's him, and that his kid kind of sees him almost as a bad guy. I was like, that must be crushing for a dad to have that realization. And but they have this great moment where they, instead of the dad like yelling at him and freaking out, which he kind of already did, he's like, well, tell me the end of the story. Tell me how this would work. And like the hero kind of tells the villain, you're good too. You can be a creator. You're great as well. And they get rid of the crazy glue, and you can make whatever you want.
Yeah, it's really effective, and it reminded me of my interaction with my son because 2 years ago I spent probably an hour and a half building the Avengers Quinjet for my son because that's what he got for Christmas. Because it was complicated, and there was a
Gave
lot.
up on it.
Well, he asked me to do it,
Yeah.
and because it was 4 freaking books. So I get done with it, and he's had it together for almost a year. He had it together almost a year, and then we showed up. I went down there to hang out with him, and he pulls out, something. I'm like, wait a second, that's off the Quinjet. What happened to the Quinjet? Oh, I took it apart, and part of me was crushed. One, because that's not how I ever played with Legos until way later. Maybe I didn't give it full year or whatever, but like I did that. But then you have to realize that if he's going to be creative with his Legos, which is the whole freaking point, then he needs to take stuff apart. You can't just expect him to leave everything together. So
I always struggle with that when I build a big model. I'm like, oh, this is cool, I love it, but I've got this other idea and I need that piece.
he had
the one that's right in the middle.
He had a dragon from the year before that was awesome.
One of the Ninjago dragons.
Yes,
Yeah,
the brown one, and he took that apart, and I was like, wow, that sucks. Glad I didn't put that together.
Yeah.
Did you guys recognize what the piece was that was attached to the hero? I can't remember what they
It's
called
the
it.
cap for crazy.
Yeah.
The piece of resistance.
The piece of resistance. It didn't dawn on me on that until just about the point of where they come right out and say it. And I even knew the crazy glue was there. I was thinking, that's not a Lego on his bag. What are they going to do with that? What is that? And it's like, yeah, it's a cap. Oh, yeah.
So one of the clever nods, like throughout the movie, is that it's this Lego world, and then they have these magical artifacts that President Business has been kind of hoarding. And so like one of them's like a dirty Band-Aid that's like got all this lint, and then there's like and they all these ridiculous names. So it was like the blade of Exact Zero was just an X-Acto knife thing, and then Morgan Freeman plays this wizard character, and he's got this staff, and the staff is just a half-eaten lollipop.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
It grossed me out every time I saw that.
He's got a little rubber band on his head, and it's just they find these artifacts from the real world, and they have no idea what they are, what they do, and they're these magical things with these ridiculous like fantasy names that
And
are
towards the end,
really
when all
funny.
when all the heroes get captured, they get captured with rubber bands. They get rubber banded.
They don't know what they are.
And the story is super effective. I think it really spoke to me as a fan of Legos because I got to see all the stuff, but it really spoke to me as a father of somebody that really loves Legos. So
You can really boil it down to be creative and don't feel bad about it. And because the main character, his whole thing is he wants to do things according to the instructions, and that's what gives him comfort. And then he meets all these people who are kind of iconoclasts, and they build things their own way. And then at the end, they can come to this realization that anyone can build what they want. And if you're happy building the instructions, that's fine. Do it. Just do what makes you happy and be creative in your own way. Just be creative. And I think that's a good message.
for the record, the double-decker couch is an amazing idea.
I
is,
think it's
yeah.
an amazing idea.
That's the only idea that Emmett has of what to make. And everyone's like, this is terrible.
But it ends up saving them.
It does.
When the pirate
And
gets pulled up.
there's Captain Metalbeard, the pirate mech, because he went to go fight Lord Business, and all he got out with was his head and his beard. So he built himself a mechanical body because that's what you have to do.
Which is like a giant mecha suit that's got 3 cannons on one arm, and then like the other
A
hand
shark.
is a shark.
A hand and a shark attack.
That's awesome.
The thing is, this movie and the stuff they do in it are ridiculous. I mean, absolutely just ridiculous, but ridiculous in the way that you should play with Legos. I mean, as a kid, that's what you should be doing.
And everything is in Lego form, so it's like, except for the weird artifacts and except for the live action stuff, it's like when they're getting swept away with water, it's weird Lego pieces that's moving them around. When there's an explosion, it's an explosion of Lego bricks or the Lego flames.
Yeah.
And so the animation style and the way that characters move is through that, they've got a limited range of motion to their Legos, but they get a lot of comedy out of that and how they bend.
He does jumping jacks, and instead of legs
Yeah.
out to the side, they go front and back.
Yeah.
There's a part where these guys Xerox their butts, and it's just the little like 2 slot leg things. It's just weird.
Yeah. They Xerox their butt on the pirate.
Who's been transformed.
He transformed into
Transforms into
a copier because he didn't want to get caught.
And and then the voice talent it's a crazy voice cast. The main character is Chris Pratt, who's from Parks and Rec, and he's going to be Star-Lord in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Okay.
Alison Brie from Community is that weird unicorn thing. The pirate was Nick Offerman from Parks and Rec. Charlie Day from It's Always Sunny was the spaceship guy.
Yeah. Elizabeth Banks is Wild Style.
Yeah, she's the female. And then Morgan Freeman is the wizard in Will Ferrell's President Business. And that's a loaded
And
cast.
that is not a weird unicorn thing. It's Unikitty.
Unikitty?
Remember that. It's a unicorn cat.
Is that an actual thing? I was not
It
familiar
is.
with
I've
No.
not seen that.
Yes,
It
I
will
have
be.
seen it at Walmart in the girls' collection of
Okay.
Legos.
Yeah, I'm not familiar
Yeah.
with those Legos.
That might be the movie stuff, though.
It
because
might
they've got a
be.
bunch of...
So
It
they
might
are
be.
doing Lego the movie sets because I was
Yeah.
curious about that.
you can get
That's
the
amazing.
flying cop car you can get, and you can also get
There's
the truck, the fire truck that was transformed into the mech.
Mhm.
there's one
Oh.
set where it's either the flying car or the fire truck, and you get Batman and Bad Cop.
Bad Cop. Bad Cop, who is the main henchman, He also sometimes transforms into good cop by swiveling his head around, but that's Liam Neeson doing an Irish accent.
Yeah.
He's
also,
he's
do you know,
playing good cop, bad cop.
do you know the little packets of figures?
Hold on. Go ahead.
You know those little packets of figures that
Yeah.
to sell that they have the
Yeah.
little random guys? They're apparently the next run of them are going to be figures from the movie.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So Anthony Daniels, who plays C-3PO, also plays C-3CPO
Oh, yeah.
in this, and so does
Billy D. Williams.
Billy D. Williams is Lando Calrissian.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, they're the
Nerd
huge.
card, please.
Jonah Hill is Green Lantern.
And Channing
Oh.
Tatum. Channing Tatum is Superman because the guys who did this, they did 21 Jump Street apparently, which I've heard is I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's better than
I've heard it's
people.
hilarious.
It was.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it.
But so they've got Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill is that doing the buddy thing, which is kind of a
Most importantly,
Okay.
Shaquille O'Neal plays
Shaquille
Shaq.
that part was awesome.
Yeah.
That was such a great joke.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's one of the master builders. It was the 92 All Stars.
Yeah,
So
which
whatever
was a
year it
Lego
was.
set
Yeah,
from way back
it
in the day.
was.
The movie itself was really good. I can't express enough, and they've got a huge voice talent, which makes me think they probably paid them all like $10 a piece and asked them to just come do the movie. But I don't know. This movie made me feel exactly like Wreck-It Ralph. You're right. This is the kind of thing where I bought Wreck-It Ralph as soon as I could. I will buy this and watch it again and be happy to do so. So
Yeah, I'd recommend this. I think to anybody like anyone I know, I wouldn't hesitate to recommend it to. Adults, people with kids. If I ever talk to any kids, which I don't.
yeah. Your imaginary kids.
My little nephew who's like 3, so I can kind of talk to him.
Yeah.
You know.
And the Lego sets that they put out are very iconic to this movie now that I watched it. Because when I looked at them, I was like, wow, that's ridiculous. I don't know if I'd ever want that. But now that I've seen it in the movie, I kind of want them. Not
Have
that I
you
collect
seen the
Legos.
new 3-in-1 collection that they've done? No. So
No.
what it is they on the box they have here's your thing: house, dump truck, bulldozer, whatever, and then that model can then be turned into 2 other models.
Yeah.
I have seen those. Yeah.
Those have been
Those-
around. Yeah, those have been around for a bit.
Have they? 'Cause
Yeah.
they're new to me. But
Well, we go to the Lego store way too much.
that's
so
probably true. But it's part, but it seems like it's part of that mentality that they're trying to teach in the show because I've met people who can't build anything or claim they can't build anything with Legos, and they can only follow the instructions. And then I'm over here, I build mechs and walking robots constantly. Starships, yeah, we gotta play that game someday. So like this is like, okay, you've got a house, now turn it into a fire station, now turn it into a whatever the third one was.
Yeah.
But it's all the same pieces, so it's like showing you, like teaching you how you can change things up.
And with
so
those,
I like that a lot.
Aiden got one of those. It was a race car, a regular car, and a truck. And you didn't use every single piece every time,
right?
But it was clear that there was a set number of pieces in there that you could change in and out. Yeah. I don't know. There was nothing about this movie I didn't like.
No, I absolutely love the animation style of it, and I hope it helps stop motion in the future. I realize most of this was CGI. There was some stop motion included, but the way it looked like it was only stop motion except for the faces.
Yeah.
And one of the main reasons it's stop motion is the reason I got into sculpture in the first place. But the reason there's not a lot of stop motion movies anymore is because the facial features have to be changed so often, and there's typically different. Like we saw a commercial for what was it? Troll in the Box Trolls, and they showed him making it, and one of the drawers is just like full of faces for the character. If animators can do a stop motion picture with like a generic blank face and just CGI the face on it, it would save a lot of time, it would save a lot of money, and we might get more stop motion films that way.
Oh yeah, the other problem though, I mean, if you can stop motion, why don't you just release CGI?
Because there's I agree. I'm going to say something.
I'm saying from the corporate standpoint, like, because you can still save a lot more money and time by.
I'm going to go watch Box Troll merely because it's stop motion.
I don't disagree.
And you're never going to hear me say this again. There's an art.
I agree.
To stop motion that needs to be preserved. I hate to say that, but there's a clear, like the same thing with Harryhausen. Like we lost all of that when Star Wars killed the Harryhausen effect.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it was great, but there was an art there to it, and there was an intensive work and thought that went into everything he did. He was an artist.
Yeah.
It may not be compared to now any good, but there's something important there, and that's the history of where we came from.
It's still great. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, because I mean, a good subjective thing is it's I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we just bought the Jurassic Park series, all 3 movies on Blu-ray because we got a surround sound for Christmas, so surround sound system for Christmas. So we were looking for something cheap that could actually matter and use it.
Yeah.
And we found all three Jurassic Park movies for $7 a piece on Black Friday at Walmart while we were there for something else entirely. And I was at 97, 92,
96.
96.
I think so.
The first movie still holds up, and they use practical and digital effects. And it was amazing to to watch it.
Terminator 2 holds up.
That's true.
That's really good.
Yeah. Well, there are some clunky parts of Terminator 2, just a couple, but it really does hold up really well.
The old saw is that's always, to me, it's like visual effects. It doesn't matter how advanced your visual effect is, because in 10 years it's going to look like garbage.
Yeah.
And so it's as long as it's backed by story and the other parts of the filmmaking are good. You still watch Jason the Argonauts for the Harryhausen effect, and it's really herky jerky and weird, but it's an interesting journey. So
yeah.
If it was cruddy, you wouldn't rewatch it. You wouldn't care. So visual effects will only take you so far.
That's true. So everybody gave it a 5 out of 5.
No, I gave it a 4 out of 5. It got a little slow in the middle, and some of the jokes got a little old.
Yeah, they did keep saying "piece of resistance" a lot. But
have you guys watched?
No, I'm moving over. It's still well above average. I mean, it's.
Here's one joke that I did like that they kept doing was it really undercuts and satirizes the whole hero's journey and the idea of a chosen one. Because at the beginning they set up this prophecy of this chosen one, and Morgan Freeman's character sets it up, and he's immediately accused of making it up. But they keep being like, someone will come with a face of yellow, and they all have yellow faces, and he will be the most important, most talented. He or she will be the most important, most talented, most interesting person, and which is just like Frodo or Luke or all these other ones, and just the idea of one person just changing everything is kind of boring to me, and I think unrealistic, and I don't like it. And so the fact that they play, so at the end it's like, nope, yeah, he did make it up, that was fake, and then at the end it even transforms further into, no, you're all like that. And I thought that was kind of cool.
And you also needed teamwork.
And they needed teamwork, yeah.
And Emmett, Emmett's whole thing was he wasn't a master builder, but he was a blank slate, which was important. And so there was nothing bad about this movie. This movie was really amazing.
There wasn't a lot bad about this movie.
There was nothing bad with this movie. You didn't like Pacific Rim. Your vote does not count. We will take you out of the average. We got a 5 out of 5. If you have children between 4 and 30, because clearly I'm older than 30.
If you have children or man children.
Or man children, yeah. If you have someone in your house that likes Legos, you should take them to see this. And wait till the end, because there is the obvious sequel laid in. So the dad tells the kid, well, if I'm going to let you play here, which is fine, that means your sister can play down here too.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And so at the very end, the spaceship comes over and it transports them down or something, and it's these Duplo things, and they're like, we are Duplo. We're here to destroy you.
In a really little kid girl's voice.
Yeah.
And the Lego's just horrified by this. And then there's also stay all the way through the credits, because they're, or at least really long through the credits, because there's a song that takes place that's kind of fun and bubbly, and then it transitions to a song that Batman in the movie wrote about how everything is darkness and how his parents are dead and he's an orphan, but he's pretty rich, so it kind of makes up for it. But he's still very dark.
Yeah,
and brooding.
They explain that he's an artist because he has a tortured soul. It's
this really bad techno music.
Yeah.
Wow. Who voiced Batman?
Will Arnett.
Does he sing the song too?
No.
Well, he doesn't. There's no singing.
He does say he's the hero you deserve, which is
There were a lot of hints to a lot of stuff in this, which was really kind of fun, but it made sense because Morgan Freeman keeps getting Gandalf and Dumbledore, who are standing next to each other, mixed up.
That was one of my favorite line readings when he's like, "You got to write this down. I'm not gonna remember this. It's so good."
Which is even funnier because Morgan Freeman's character is blind.
Yeah.
So writing it down doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
80s Spaceman was totally my favorite because I loved all the 80s space stuff because it was ridiculous. And they're like, all right, we got to build something. He's like, spaceship? And he starts building it. And they're like, no, spaceship.
He's a master builder, but the only thing he wants to build is a spaceship. No, it's specifically one spaceship that he keeps trying to build.
It was a pretty awesome spaceship.
It was a cool spaceship. No doubt.
Speaking of 80s Spaceman, have you guys seen the do-it-yourself 80s Spaceman decal that is going around the internet?
Mm-mm.
Somebody put out instructions on how to do the 80s Spaceman logo using like $30 worth of supplies on a leather flight jacket.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I know. I'm totally like, I'm not in love with the 80s Spaceman logo, but I have a leather jacket. So the next time I have $30 to blow, I am buying a set of these paints they use and going to town on my leather jacket.
Nice.
Right on.
Yeah.
This movie also has a lot of touching moments too, which
It
kind of
does.
took me by surprise. When the Catacorn, what was it? Yeah,
Unikitty.
Unikitty. When Unikitty's village was
Cloud Cuckoo Land.
destroyed, I about lost.
Well, there was we saw it in a full theater, and there was a small child in there who just started bawling and screaming when that happened.
Yeah.
And it was clearly because she was, I think it was a girl, was affected by what they were seeing on screen. And then she also started crying when
There was another time when
it was
started
towards
crying.
the end,
There was
almost
some
like the
horrible thing was
almost
happening.
the point of no return. Where
it was when he fell through the abyss.
It was when the micromanager. No, was it that, or was it when the micromanagers grabbed onto Garrett in his dump truck mech?
That's the first time you mentioned micromanagers since Shirley's Joker.
Oh, yeah.
So micromanagers are the manifestation of the father of Will Ferrell's human character fixing everything.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So they micromanage how it's supposed to look.
Are
You
they
remember
the
do
little?
you remember the Sentinels on The Matrix?
Sure.
That's what they
They
are.
look like that.
resemble
Yeah.
Oh,
little
okay.
square things with
They're-
the arms.
I thought they'd be the mini figs that
No.
come in the Lego game.
No, that would be awesome. No, these were, I don't know, probably twice the height of a
Kind
Lego
of
guy.
like black boxes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Little red things.
Tentacles.
But yeah, the
Maybe
kids started going
A Borg
nuts
box
Yeah.
with
during the
the
two
tentacles
sad
on it.
moments.
But the rest of the movie, I didn't notice them. Once the movie
Yeah.
started, we had kids behind us, and I didn't hear a single word out of
Yeah,
them.
for heavily child audience, that was seemed to be taken in by it and seemed to be
Mm-hmm.
invested. And for me, I've always felt like, when you're dealing with kids' movies, you need movies that have those emotional moments.
Yeah.
What I remember from my childhood and enjoying movies was stuff like Goonies and things like that. And those all had some stuff that was kind of scary and a little bit maybe too scary, but there's also but that was good. It made it feel exciting, like you wanted to watch. If it's something too slick or too anodyne, you don't want to.
Yeah.
Even as a
Yeah.
kid, you can sense that, and you don't want to engage with it.
Yeah.
The Lion King has scarred me. For
Yeah,
life.
people from our generation.
Yeah.
That was really affecting. But they're like, let's leave it in there. It's a real emotion.
Exactly.
It needs to
It
be
is.
there.
It
It's
does.
good.
All right. Anything anybody else has?
Legos are cool. I do think it's interesting though.
Legos
It's
are cool.
one thing I think is very fascinating is that it had an anti-corporate message kind of built in, but yet it's a pro-corporate
Yeah.
advertisement for their product. And I think that there's a weird dichotomy there that I don't know if I don't think you can unpack it because it's just so tied in with
What the
the movie itself. No, I mean just saying that, be suspicious of things that corporations are trying to sell you, like pop music and these stupid TV shows and this
Oh,
entertainment.
right.
Prefab culture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
The TV show was called "Where's My Pants," and all we ever saw of it was the guy walk in with white
No
pants,
pants.
with white
with yellow
legs, and he'd go, "Where are my pants?" And that's all you ever saw.
And everybody's laughing.
And the way they introduced that is first president of business is addressing her on TV, and he's like, "Hey everybody, you better like me or I'll put you to sleep. And on Tuesday we're having Taco Tuesday," which turns out to be when he's going to destroy lock everyone into place. But the character's like, "Wait, did he say he's going to put everyone to sleep?" And then all of a sudden, "Where's My Pants?" comes on TV. He's like, "Oh hey, where's my pants?" And so it's this
Brainwash.
stupid entertainment is keeping him from focusing on what's important.
Right.
And so this had such a good message. I don't feel like it was lying about it, but it is still partially an advertisement, and they're partially making these sets from this movie. I'm not opposed to that, but I think it's just an interesting,
It is weird.
weird counter-purposed.
It makes me want to like Legos. I mean, I'm not anti-corporate, but I am suspicious of corporations. But when Lego's a giant corporation, Hollywood is effectively a giant. Does anybody remember what studio this came out of?
No idea, actually.
I saw it.
Fox, Miramax.
I don't know.
Okay.
a very wealthy studio.
Yeah, either way, it was a
big
big
one.
studio. And so here it is. At least two large corporations, plus DC is involved. Warner Brothers is involved. Maybe Warner Brothers.
I think it was Warner
It
Brothers.
was Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was definitely Warner Brothers.
So they're all involved, and then here they are telling you to don't just question authority. Don't just swallow the pill and go on with their life.
Yeah, it's so weird.
It's really kind of weird.
And it is also, I mean, Legos at least are legitimately a creative
They are.
toy. I mean, it's more creative than a G.I. Joe action figure and things like that. And so they're not necessarily selling you a bag of lies, but they are. There is still something weird about it.
Yeah.
You know?
It's a little off-putting. Yeah. Would you? Yeah. Being able to do whatever you want with the product, like that's a niche that only they've got the market on right now.
And I think it's also reflected, like, again, the fact that they allow fans to come up with their own ideas for things and then have them vote on it and will actually make those products is something that a lot of companies wouldn't do. So it is pretty cool.
Yeah, the Cusco project is really interesting because basically you design it, you send it to Cusco. If it gets 10,000 votes, they'll investigate it. And the thing is that they've had problems with in the past is licensing. Licensing is expensive.
Mm-hmm.
But like the next one's coming out is the 30th edition Ghostbusters with the Fire Station and Echo One. And
Echo One is coming out. The Fire Station did not make it.
Oh, it did not.
That's
I miss
what I heard on Frog. That's what I heard on Frog Pants.
I watched it, so maybe I misunderstood what it. You might be right. So, Ghostbusters came out. They've done Minecraft. They've done Back to the Future. But there's tons of stuff on Cusco, which is just their way of saying, "Hey, fans, check this out." I didn't realize this, but there are conventions everywhere. There was one here in Indianapolis. Well, technically in Greenfield, but it was.
Oh, really?
It was in Indianapolis where they just come and set stuff up, and that's what Lego is all about, is getting people to be creative. So yeah, they're this huge corporation that clearly is evil because they're a huge corporation. Yeah, but we've been to the Lego Discovery Zone up in Chicago. It's amazing. Every time I interact with Lego, I'm impressed, and I know they're more expensive than other stuff, but
it's quality.
But we got a Mega Bloks thing, and all their stuff had stress colored discoloration, and their instructions were bad and didn't actually build the thing it was supposed to build. And all I kept thinking was, man, why didn't we just buy Legos? So,
and that's the thing, is if Lego just put out, if they just started making only licensed products and stopped putting out their own stuff, or if they, sued people for putting up Lego instructions to build things and made them take it off, and
sometimes they do that.
Do they?
Sometimes, not every time, but they've done it in the past.
Because I know that they're reluctant to do things like I've seen some people who do like World War II themed things or like military themed things, and some side groups have like you make like realistic Lego weapons and things like that, where your minifig can have like an AK-47 or something. Is that the kind of thing, or is it?
No, it's more the like they're. I'm trying to remember the story now, but there were people putting plans out there, and they were really close to things they were putting out, and it was the story, the way I was told the story, and I'm not putting 100% belief behind the version I heard was people were innocently just putting out, here's my plan for a robot, and then Lego was like, that is very close to our robot, take it down.
Yeah.
Sometimes, but they do encourage, like there's a Mobile Suit Gundam. Have you seen that one? Where they also, when we went to Gen Con and Lego was there, we were like, did you guys see the Lego people where they have the people? And they're like, no. And they like went down and came back and they were like, yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. And all it is them selling Legos.
Right.
Or Lego minifigs. That was it. And they were like, that's cool. So I get like.
I'm just saying, I've heard these stories, so I'm not putting 100% faith in them.
There's also sometimes, because the way copyright works, and my limited understanding of it, is that sometimes if you don't defend a copyright on something once, it just releases it forever. So sometimes companies
sets a precedent.
Yeah, sometimes companies have to crack down on stuff maybe they wouldn't necessarily want to, because they have to defend the copyright, otherwise they'll lose all rights to it. So it's like if you use Batman and you're not using him satirically, DC will sue you no matter what. Otherwise, anyone can publish Batman stuff forever.
It's the same thing with Mickey Mouse. There was a daycare in Florida that put Mickey Mouse up on their wall, with no prior permission, and Disney had to go in and have them take it down. They didn't have a choice, because if they release it the one time with no licensing agreement, they have to release it every time. So it's terrible, but that's just the way it has to
So
be.
without knowing
So I
more
don't
about the case, I mean, so it
Exactly.
could be, there's smoke, we don't know the particulars, it could be one thing, it
Because
could
you
be
can
the other.
go out and buy a Disney wall applique of Mickey.
That Disney has licensed to whoever is making it.
Um,
So that Winnie the Pooh Tigger thing you've got, that was licensed, and the company that printed that said, Disney, we want to use this, and Disney said, yes, here's the amount you have to pay, and they paid it, and they're allowed to use it.
I hate to admit it amongst this group, but I have not been a big Lego fan in the past or currently.
Can you go ahead and grab your jacket?
I know. Mega Bloks came out with these things, and I thought it was going to be cool. I thought this was going to be great because they had World of Warcraft license.
It's crap, isn't it?
It wasn't that bad, but the figures were odd. So I went, okay, well, they came out with this thing with Call of Duty. I thought, okay, well, that's kind of cool, too. The thing I like about Legos is they're all the same. They all set to the same scale. They all interact the same. The World of Warcraft figure is a good 1.5 inches taller than a Call of Duty figure.
And they know.
Yeah.
So,
And in all fairness, not all of Lego's figures are the same height. Dwarves are shorter.
But they
So are hobbits.
they fit a certain scale,
I know.
though.
yeah.
Uniformity
And
is the word you're
that's
looking
what
for.
I'm looking for, and it's just not there with any other company.
It's because Lego has been doing this since the early 70s.
Exactly.
So
And Lego is definitely a better product.
yeah, and I believe a Dutch company or Danish company.
It's Danish.
Yeah. Lego is I believe the Danish word for play or build. I mean, the word Lego itself means something in another language from that same company or country. So
I thought I would toy around with another book set, but I'm just not.
you
a big,
clearly need to
big
go buy
Lego
the
set
Teenage
kind of
Mutant
person.
Ninja Turtles and the Back to the Future stuff.
It's just so expensive.
It is, but it's worth it.
You know what's great is the Monster Hunter set where they've got a guy who looks like Elvis fighting Dracula.
Oh yeah,
That's cool.
Oh,
That-
yeah.
that would-
Although I will say there's also the Power Miners set. Now I'm just going to go and talk about what my personal favorite Lego sets are.
go for
Now
it.
I feel about that. There was a Lego set from 5 or 6, I don't even know. I don't know the years, who cares? Called Power Miners, where it was like these guys with these drills and they're going down these underground caverns.
And the rock monsters.
And they're rock monsters. And it looked like, and they'd be chucking dynamite at these rock monsters, and the rock monsters would be trying to stop them. And it looked to me like the crystals lived inside the rock monsters, and so that the heroic, human figurines looked like they were just invading this layer of rock people, stealing their life sources, and then throwing dynamite at them to get them out of there. And I found it horrifying. I did not like that.
I'll
my
tell you
gosh.
what. I'll tell you what. I don't remember the
That would be
packaging,
awesome.
Yeah.
but I've seen the animated show based on those
Okay.
series. What it is the crystals give off energy
Mhm.
that the Lego men or the Lego miners can use to power their machinery. So they go and they take them, and then they discover the rock monsters, and then so there's a battle because the rock monsters keep wanting to steal back the crystals, but they need them for their energy source. Eventually, they learn that the crystals are actually eggs.
Oh my goodness!
Oh.
They're using their children to fuel the
No,
machines
no.
they use to destroy the children.
They only expand. The crystals never get used up. So at the end of the show, they open up all of the crystal chambers and let the eggs out. And
But they
so
still
all is
use
well.
so
That is nightmarish.
So they use child labor for.
To create machines to steal more children.
Unknowingly.
Unknowingly.
If it turned out that gasoline was actually microbes that, could eventually attain sentience, would you quit driving your car?
Yeah.
Possibly. And I would point out that the rock monsters aren't possibly sentient. They're obviously sentient, and these guys are throwing dynamite in their faces. If you look at the packaging, it is awful what they're doing to these
The
poor
packaging is terrible.
Is it?
My
things. They've got
favorite.
these big claws, they're like crap. It's really freaky.
But they're monsters. They're destroying stuff.
My
They just
favorite.
look monstrous. We don't know what they're like, their culture.
Sadly.
My favorite non-licensed.
That's racist.
My favorite non-licensed
Against
set
rock monsters.
is the original castle because it was
Mm.
huge
Yeah.
and gorgeous and came with a princess and knights and all that. But then I also really liked the chess set, the knight's chess set. Have you seen it, Johnny?
That one.
$50.
It's pretty amazing.
The board is all Legos. You just
Yeah. Does it have scenery around the edges, or is it
I
just,
don't remember.
So that would be cool.
And then the last one would be the Knight's Joust. Now you'll notice I really like the Knight stuff.
Yeah.
That's kind of my thing. But if you want to go licensed, the Death Star is amazing. $400 of a huge Death Star, the size of a beach ball.
Yeah.
Or,
It's
you know, a
pretty big.
blow-up
Is it
beach ball, yeah.
Star Wars 1 Death Star or Star Wars 3 Death Star?
Well, you can build either. But it is
Cool.
specifically the Star Wars one because there's the trash compactor monster.
Yeah, there's internal stuff.
Cool.
Yeah.
All that.
So,
Helm's Deep is an amazing set as well.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
See, I don't know. When I grew up, one of the reasons I don't like Legos is because I got buckets of Legos. I didn't get sets.
you
I
can
got
still
some-
build stuff with those.
You can.
Yeah, I don't
But-
remember any specific sets from my childhood. I just had a lot of loose ones that I
See,
made all sorts
yeah.
of cool stuff that I liked.
I mean, did they when did they start putting
It
out?
was just more to do with clay.
70,
I don't ever remember.
73 is
sets
when they
being
came
around
out.
when we were
Space was the
little.
first one in the 80s.
No, but you mean like licensed ones?
Well, like they do now, you walk into a Lego store and it's like wall-to-wall sets, and then on the back wall there's like little cubbies of each Lego.
They always
Space-
came as sets, I think.
Space was the first actual set. Everything else was just buckets of Legos.
Was it really?
Yeah. I remember getting buckets of Legos and building square or rectangular and square houses
Mhm.
and cars and not really getting into it. It was, I want to say it was in the 90s when they changed the visors from yellow to orange.
Yeah.
And space became white, blue, black, and orange was the colors.
Mm-hmm.
They started introducing hinged pieces and
Yeah.
spinning discs.
A lot of
and
clear
things like
ones.
that.
that
A lot
were
of clear.
like those
Yeah.
bright green fluorescent ones.
I want
Yeah.
to say it
Cool.
was. I want to say it was Space first, and then Pirates came in like '92, and I remember that only because it was a big deal, and Kmart was the only place that had them,
Mm.
and we begged and never got the big ships, but now I owned I owned the hulls for two.
Yeah,
I had
ships.
a rowboat.
Wow.
And I would put a cannon on it. That was
Of course you did.
Oh my gosh.
Some years ago, I was very hard up for money and sold all my Legos by the pound, and it was like 80 pounds of Legos.
wow.
But this was my brother collected Legos before me too, so that
So
was
you sold
that
them.
was a sad day.
I have 4 briefcases. I say briefcases is an officially licensed Lego box that has a flip top.
Mhm.
It's impossible to know what you got because there's 2 inches on every side that is covered by the case. It's just like a door in the middle that's like 6 inches wide, and you got to dig through them. And,
Yeah.
but I have 4 cases of those thanks to my brothers.
Nice.
They were big into the underwater set.
Those
Yeah,
water stuff.
underwater ones were
Yeah.
awesome. with
And
the
that one
fins.
was blue, black, red, and white. So Matt and I are planning to play this spaceship strategy game.
Yeah.
Matt went out and bought Starship Minis.
Had created
Had created, printed, 3D printed.
3D printed.
They're actually kind of awesome. I'm not dissing the ships, but I can't seem to scrape together the cash to spend on them. So then Matt texted me one day. He's like, "When are we playing? When are we playing? When are we playing?" And I was like, "I can't get the ships. I don't know." And he goes, "You got Legos?" I was like, "Holy crap! I got Legos."
Yeah.
So now we each have an army of 10 ships. His are 3D printed and nice. Mine are Legos. I have a translucent piece to represent every weapon.
cool.
So I have phasers and disruptors and missile launchers.
Yeah.
And there's a light piece for every weapon.
Yeah.
On my ship.
We are
I love
giant,
them.
giant nerds. Last year I got Turtle Legos. This year I got Back to the Future, some stupid tank, and something else.
The Chimera.
Chimera.
That's
Chimera
the
tank.
I was talking about.
And then I got some Hobbit piece this year that, man,
My thing right now is Star Wars Legos. That's what I like. And I like.
Yeah.
Those are fun.
I've got X-wing and TIE fighter, and I'm really irritated because when I was up in Minneapolis at the big
Mall of America.
Legos, the Mall of America Lego store, we did this giant, like Gundam-sized Lego thing, like robot mobile suit thing that was crazy, like life-size, huge.
Mhm.
But they had a Y-wing there that had like gold leader. I think it was going for like $45 or $50. And I was like, I flew out here, I'll get it later. And now it's like sold out in like most places. It's like selling for like $100. And that's irritating to me.
Yeah.
Has anybody here played the board game that uses the Lego figures?
Heroica?
Yeah.
My son owns all but one of the sets.
Are they any good? Because I've looked at
They're a
them.
lot of
Don't
fun.
don't buy them expecting deep rules.
No,
They're
okay.
made for little kids.
Yeah.
It's Dungeons and Dragons light.
I like
Is it-
the
so
Egyptian one.
So
Yeah.
it does have decent enough
Well,
rules.
and
though.
that's Heroica specifically. We played the other ones. There was the Minotaur one that he got.
Uh-huh.
Those are all kind of fun. They're just a board game. It's a roll and move, but it's
But
a
the
Lego.
thing is,
all
all
of
of the Heroica sets once you get them, it builds on each other's side, so you can make the map as large as you want. Connect the boards.
The Heroica stuff was good, but it only lasts for so long before the kids I played all of these. So I think we've talked enough about this. So we've talked about Legos, fun Legos. But that really kind of does it today. We really like the movie. You should go see it. Johnny, quit being a slacker. Go see the movie.
Exactly. Give me $10 to go.
I only paid $7.50.
Okay,
$7.50 Saturday morning.
You could have gone this morning at for 12, $6 apiece.
Give me $15 so I can take my kid.
Remember that the Hulu money?
Yeah.
Just saying. All right, we will talk to you guys later.
And that's it tonight for us on the Nerds Domain podcast. You can always send us an email at nerdsdomain@gmail.com or catch us on Twitter. Matt is at Quiet, Scott is at @BigDaddyT_, Johnny is at FoolsMask, Justin is at J_Kimmett, and Shirley is at SNED70, or the website at Nerds Domain. You can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/nerdsdomain. We want to thank John Schott for our music. If you'd like to help us out, head over to the website and buy something through our Amazon link. It's the same price you always pay, but a little bit comes back to us. If you enjoy our podcast, we encourage you to give us a review on iTunes and let us know what you think. We also have t-shirts available over at slashloot.com at tinyurl.com/ndshirts. We'll talk to you real soon.